Alrighty, folks, we're now 6-0 in our last 6 NBA tier membership plays on my premium page. We had the over 231 in that Kings-Pistons game on Monday, and that contest saw 244 total points. And the good news is I've got another NBA tier membership play going off here for Tuesday. That play's already posted and ready for access. Of course, if you want to access all of my premium plays, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive Gold Club membership. Gold Club members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my free pick video here today for Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Happy Tuesday to you. Hopefully you had a great start to the new week. And if you're joining me for the first time here today, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. Of course, if you don't need access to all of my premium selections, but maybe you could use like one a day, you may want to think about signing up for my daily best play. Costs just 6 cents a day for 30 days worth of access. I also have plenty of free content on my premium page as well. We currently have over 2,325 members who are signed up and active on my premium page right now. And with that, folks, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. Going to start off in the NBA. Hawks, Magic, 7 o'clock Eastern tip. Orlando's minus 4.5, totals 225. The Magic's 2 games below 500, losing record against the point spread. And more recently, Orlando failed to cover in 3 out of their last 5, having a tough time, guarding the deep ball this year. Orlando's 25th in defensive three-point percentage. Now, Orlando's also sending way too many shooters to the foul line. They're in the bottom 5 in free throw attempts per game on D. And they're facing an Atlanta squad on the other side who does a nice job getting to the stripe themselves. They're 4th in the league in free throws made, 5th in points per game. Trae Young averages 24 points per contest, 87% from the foul line. And George Niang, he's shooting 40% from downtown with the Hawks. Atlanta games went 7-2 to the over in their last 9. Orlando games went 5-4 to the over in their last 9 themselves. I like the Hawks plus 4.5 over 225. Next game, Wizards, Pacers, 7 o'clock East. Indiana's minus 19, totals 238.5. The Pacers are 16 games over 500, but they're just 35-43 against the point spread. It's a mighty big number for a team who hasn't covered all that well. Of course, more recently, the Pacers failed to cover in 6 out of their last 10. Having a tough time on the defensive end of the floor. And he's currently 25th in the league in defensive field goal percentage. And they're facing a Washington team who covered recently against Orlando, Sacramento, and Philadelphia. Jordan Poole scoring 20.5 points per contest, 88% from the foul line. And Alex Sarr, he's averaging 13 points a game, 6 boards, couple assists for him. Holmes, Middleton, George, and Brogdon are day-to-day for Washington. Pascal Siakam's questionable for Indiana. Pacer games went 6-1 to the over in their last 7. Washington with overs against Brooklyn, Philadelphia, and this very Indiana team. I like the Wizards plus 19 over 238.5. Next matchup, Grizzlies, Hornets, 7 o'clock East. Memphis is 13.5, total 230. Memphis is 14 games over 500, second highest point producing team in the league. When it comes to getting to the foul line, well, Memphis makes more free throws per contest than any other organization. Jaren Jackson averages 22 points a game, 49% from the field. And Desmond Bane, he's averaging nearly 20 a game himself, 6 boards, 5 assists. They're facing a Charlotte team on the other side who failed to cover the point spread in 8 out of their last 9. They actually took the outright loss in all of those contests I just mentioned except for one. The Hornets are averaging only 105 points a night on offense this year, dead last in shooting from the field. Charlotte games went 4-2 to the under in their last 6. Memphis with unders recently against Detroit, Miami, and Boston. I like Memphis minus 13.5, under 230. Next game, Bulls, Cavaliers, 7 o'clock East. Cleveland's minus 11.5, totals 239. The Cavs are 62-16 on the year, 33-6 at home. They're currently averaging more points a game than any other franchise, second in shooting it from three-land. DeAndre Hunter is shooting 43% from downtown with the Cavs. Darius Garland scores 20 points a game as well. They're facing a Chicago team on the other side who allows more field goals a game than any other team. They're actually allowing 120 points per contest. When it comes to grabbing rebounds, the Bulls are currently second to last in defensive boards per game. Vucevic and Giddey are questionable for Chicago. Mitchell battling an ankle injury for Cleveland. Cavs games went 60% to the over in their last 10. Chicago's 8-2 to the over in their last 10 themselves. I like the Cavaliers minus 11.5, over 239. Next contest, Pelicans Nets, 7:30 p.m. East. Brooklyn's minus 2, totals 214. The Nets are currently 30 games under 500, just 11-27 at home. And more recently, Brooklyn dropped 8 out of their last 10. They're currently in the bottom 5 in defensive field goal percentage. They're facing a Pelicans team who's actually been red hot against the point spread recently. New Orleans covered in their last 7 straight. Covers against the Bucks, Lakers, and Clippers during that span. Olynyk and Alvarado are questionable for the Pels. Johnson, Russell, and Sharp banged up for Brooklyn. 5 out of the Nets' last 7 got over the total. Pels with overs recently against the Bucks, Lakers, and Pistons. I like the Pelicans plus 2, over 214. Next matchup should be a good one. Celtics Knicks, 7:30 p.m. East. Boston's minus 2, totals 221.5. Now the Celtics saw unders in 3 out of their last 4 games, 60% to the under in their last 10. The Celtics are currently 5th in the NBA in blocks on defense, 2nd in free throws allowed. Meanwhile, the Knicks on the other side, they're the 2nd best defensive rebounding team in the league, 4th in free throws allowed themselves. The Knicks saw their last 5 straight stay under the total, 7-3 to the under in their last 10. I like the under 221.5. Next game, T-Wolves Bucks should be a good one there as well. 8 o'clock Eastern tip. Minnesota's minus 4, totals 223. The T-Wolves are 14 games over 500, but they do have a losing record against the point spread. They also failed to cover more recently against the Sixers, Pacers, and Pelicans. And they're taking on a Milwaukee team who's 6th in defensive field goal percentage, 7th in guarding the 3 ball. When it comes to the number, Milwaukee covered in 7 out of their last 10. Covers against the likes of the Nuggets, Suns, and Lakers during that stretch. Lillard's banged up for Milwaukee. Shannon's day-to-day for Minnesota. The Timberwolves saw unders recently against Philadelphia, Brooklyn, and the Pacers. Meanwhile, the Bucks with unders recently against the Pelicans, Kings, and Lakers. I like the Bucks plus 4, under 223. Next contest, Lakers Thunder, 8 o'clock East. Thunder's minus 14.5, totals 226. Now, OKC did take the loss in their last 2 straight. Troubles with the Lakers in recent gatherings. They actually lost 6 out of their last 8 contests against Los Angeles. Bottom 10 in offensive boards this year. They're also sending too many shooters to the foul line. OKC is 25th in free throws allowed per game. And they're facing a Laker team who makes more free throws a game than any other team besides one. When it comes to defensive play, well, the Lakers rarely send shooters to the line. Top 10 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, LeBron and Luka are listed as day-to-day for Los Angeles. Keep an eye on them. Williams questionable for Oklahoma City. Thunder games went 5-3 to the under in their last 8. Lakers with unders recently against Houston, Chicago, and this very Thunder team. I like the Lakers plus 14.5, under 226. Next game, Warriors Suns, 10 o'clock East. Golden State's -8, totals 228. Now, the Warriors are covering in just 50% of their games this year, failed to cover in 5 out of their last 9. Golden State's 25th in shooting from the field, bottom 5 in shooting from the foul line. And as much as the Suns have struggled here recently, they're still in the top 3 in shooting the long ball, top 3 in shooting from the stripe. Devin Booker scores over 25.5 points per contest, 89% from the foul line. And Grayson Allen drills 42% of his long balls himself. Jones 41% from 3 land as well. Now, injury-wise, Richards is day-to-day for Phoenix. KD battling an ankle injury as well. The Suns did see unders recently against New York, Boston, and Toronto. Warrior games went 4-3 to the under in their last 7. I like the Suns +8, under 228. All right, next and final, NBA breakdown. Spurs, Clippers, 10:30 p.m. East. The Clippers are -12.5, totals 227 and a hook. The Clippers are 14 games over 500, 28-11 as the home team. When it comes to the number, LA covered in 8 out of their last 10. They're currently the best defensive rebounding team in the league right now. And they're facing a Spurs team who really doesn't get to the foul line much. They don't shoot it well when they get there as well. And out of San Antonio's last 8 ball games, they took the loss in all of those contests except for one. Sohan's questionable for the Spurs. Kawhi's questionable for the Clips. I like the Clippers -12.5. All right, next matchup. Major League Baseball. Yankees, Tigers, 1:10 Eastern first pitch. Detroit's -170, total 7.5. Tarek Skubal for Detroit, Carlos Carrasco for New York. And despite, giving up some runs here, Carrasco's still 1-0 in the year, averages a strikeout an inning. Of course, at the plate, the Yankees are still the highest run-producing team in the league. Todd Grisham hits .423 with an OPS of 1308. And Aaron Judge has 6 homers, 18 ribbies. And they're going to face Tarek Skubal, who's shockingly 0-2 on the year to start, with an ERA close to 6. I think the Yankees can at least keep this one close. It snowed in their game today. I watched that entire game. It snowed for most of the contest. Give me the Yankees +1.5. Next game, White Sox, Guardians, 4:10 p.m. East. Cleveland's -210, total 7.5. Ben Lively for the Guardians, Shane Smith for Chicago. Now, Smith has an ERA of 3.18, 1.06 whip. And despite their record, the Sox do have a winning record against the run line. They're facing a 3-6 Cleveland squad who's got a losing record against the run line themselves. And this Guardians pitching staff is allowing just about double-digit hits a game. Bottom 3 in runs allowed per contest. And we could potentially see more of the same here with Ben Lively on the bump. He's 0-1 with an ERA of 6.75. Cleveland games went 5-4 to the over this year. White Sox games 6-3 to the over themselves. I like the White Sox +1.5, over 7.5 runs. All right, next contest, Marlins Mets, 4:10 p.m. East. The Mets are -280, total 7. Clay Holmes for the Mets, Connor Gillespie for Miami. Now, this Miami pitching staff has certainly had some control issues to start the year. They're in the bottom 10 in the league in walks per game. Of course, at the plate, the Fish are fanning nearly double-digit times a game, bottom 10 in run production. And they're facing a New York pitching staff who allows fewer runs a game than any other team besides one. And speaking of the bump, Clay Holmes. He's got double-digit strikeouts on the season, ERA of 2.89. Mets games went 7-2 to the under in their last 9, 3-0 to the under in Flushing, Queens. I like the Mets -1.5, under 7 in that tight window. All right, next matchup. Cardinals, Pirates, 6:40 p.m. East. Little NL Central action here. Pittsburgh's -135, total 7. Paul Skeens for the Bucks, Sonny Gray for St. Louis. And both teams do have some guys who can get on base. You know, the Cards are averaging more hits a game than any other team right now. Brendan Donovan hits .375 with an OPS close to 1,000. And Ivan Herrera, he has a handful of homers, 11 RBI for him. All of St. Louis's games this season got over the total except for one. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh saw their last 4 straight at PNC Park get over the line themselves. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, he's hitting .343. O'Neill Cruz with an on-base percentage of .362. I like the over 7 runs. Next battle, AL East, Blue Jays, Red Sox, 645 East. Boston's $170, totals 8. Garrett Crochet for Boston, Easton Lucas for Toronto. Now, the Blue Jays lost 3 of 4 on the road this year, averaged under 1.1 runs a game in those losses. And they're facing a Boston lineup who's in the top 10 in run production. Wilyer Abreu's hitting .424, OPS in the 1300s. And Christian Campbell's batting .364 with an OPS of 1143. Of course, on the mound, Garrett Crochet's got a .138 ERA through 13 innings of work. He's got a whip of just .92. Now, Boston saw overs in 3 out of their last 4 at Fenway. I like the Red Sox minus $170, over 8. Next contest, Angels-Rays, 705 East. Tampa Bay is minus $175, totals 8. Shane Baz for the Rays, Kyle Hendricks for Los Angeles. Now, Hendricks has an ERA of 3 flat, 1.17 whip. Of course, as a team, the Angels won 6 out of their last 8. Top 10 run-producing team. Logan O'Hoppe has a handful of homers, 9 RBI on the year. And Kyron Paris, he's hitting .444, OPS of 1434. They're facing a Rays team who lost their last 4 straight themselves. Averaged only 2.7 runs a game during that stretch. Really struggled at the plate. Now, total-wise, the Angels saw 6 out of their last 9 get over the line. 4-2 to the over this year on the road. I like the Angels plus 1.5, over 8. All right, next ball game, Brewers, Rockies, 8:40 Eastern start. Milwaukee's minus $160, totals 9.5. Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee, Kyle Freeland for Colorado. Now, Freeland's got a .213 ERA through a dozen-plus innings of work. No walks yet, and a .87 whip. They're facing a Milwaukee team who's in the bottom 5 in strikeouts per game at the plate. But even more concerning has been this Brewer pitching staff. They're allowing more runs a game than any other team. Now, 2 out of the Brewers' last 3 road games got over the total. No real surprise there. Meanwhile, Colorado saw overs in all of their contests at Coors Field. I like the Rockies plus 1.5, over 9.5 runs. Next game, Orioles, Diamondbacks, 9:40 p.m. East. Arizona's minus $1.25, totals 9. Merrill Kelly for Arizona, Charlie Morton for Baltimore. Now, Baltimore is a top 10 run-producing team, top 5 in hits per game. They're facing an Arizona pitching staff who's in the bottom 10 in runs allowed themselves. Merrill Kelly has an ERA in the double digits, 7 walks, and 3 strikeouts through 9 innings of work. I like the O's plus 105. Next matchup, Astros-Mariners, 9:40 p.m. East. Houston's minus $115, total 7. Framer Valdez for Houston, Luis Castillo for Seattle. And the Seattle lineup's had a tough time getting base runners thus far. They're in the bottom 5 in runs per game. They're facing a Houston pitching staff who allows fewer hits a game than any other team. Double-digit strikeouts per game on the bump. And Framer Valdez should not be any exception to that. 3.75 ERA, 1.17 whip. Valdez has fanned 13 hitters and a dozen innings of work. I like the Astros minus $115. Next and final breakdown for the video, Padres Athletics, 10:05 Eastern first pitch. San Diego's minus $145, totals 8.5. Dylan Cease for San Diego, Jeffrey Springs for the A's. Now, Springs has an ERA in the 4s, 1.44 whip. Of Of course, this A's pitching staff allows a handful of walks per game, bottom 5 in runs allowed. They're facing a San Diego lineup who has a little problems getting base runners themselves. They rarely strike out at the plate. Of course, on the mound, this Padres pitching staff allows fewer runs a game than any other team. Dylan Cease has a 3.38 ERA, 1.03 whip. Cease has struck out 14 batters in 10-plus innings of work. Now, the Pods have seen a handful of unders already on the year. I like San Diego, minus $1.45, under 8.5. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. NBA, Hawks plus 4.5, over 225. Wizards plus 19, over 238.5. Grizzlies minus 13.5, under 230. Cavaliers minus 11.5, over 239. Pelicans plus 2, over 214. I like the under 221.5 in that Red Sox game. Milwaukee Red Sox, under 221.5 in that Celtics-Knicks game. Sorry about that. Bucks plus 4, under 223. Lakers plus 14.5, under 226. Suns plus 8, under 228. Clippers minus 12.5. Baseball, Yankees plus 1.5 against Detroit. White Sox plus 1.5, over 7.5 runs. Mets minus 1.5, under 7. I like the over 7 in that Cardinals-Pirates matchup. Red Sox this time, minus 170, over 8. Angels plus 1.5, over 8 runs. Rockies plus 1.5, over 9.5 runs. Baltimore plus 105, getting the job done against the Diamondbacks. Astros minus $1.15, getting the job done against Seattle. Give me the Padres minus 145, under 8.5. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. And if you do end up getting a membership here today on my premium site, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. Going to be included with your membership. That's why I was telling folks that Gold Club package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. But most importantly, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.